the radio. Sounds like a damn good time, soaking up some neon light. Well, it's a little bit of fiddle and a whole lot of country gold. Yeah, my whole life sounds like the radio. All people call me a walking, talking jukebox. I keep the hits spinning non-stop. Something about a steel guitar moaning the blues makes me want to throw back a case or two. They say honky-tonk heroes go to heaven, you know. Maybe that's why everybody wants to go, 'cause it sounds like the radio. Back in 94, you know. Hook the speaker up to my soul. It sounds like the radio. Sounds like a damn good time, soaking up some neon light. Well, it's a little bit of fiddle and a whole lot of country gold. Yeah, my whole life sounds like the radio.
How do we know if something's good? You know, how do we get down to the root of it? We certainly know how to do this with food, right? We taste it. And looks can be deceiving. You know, I remember one time we went and ate for my aunt's birthday when I was younger. Their family, our family, and my grandparents, we all met at what was supposed to be a fancy and fine dining experience. Other people commended it. My aunt wanted to try it, and so off we went. I was around 3rd or 4th grade, somewhere in there, so I wasn't going to get anything way out of the ordinary, so I just got some burger sliders that they had. And look, they looked really good, and when they put the plate in front of me, I didn't wait for the blessing. I dove right in. You know, what I ended up tasting, though, was a very average burger. If I'm being honest, it was actually pretty terrible. The expectations were high. It looked great. Others had said it would be good, but the substance of it was not good. You know, in this day and age of digital media that comes to us through our phones, our tablets, our computers, man, there's a lot to take in. We must be sure what we're viewing or what we're listening to is sound, solid, and biblical. 1 Thessalonians 5 says this: don't despise prophecies, but test all things. Hold on to what is good. You know, we must weigh everything we hear, see, and even do by God's word. If it lines up, all steam ahead. But if it doesn't, chunk it out. Whatever we take in, we first always have to measure it by what God says in His word. So, with what you're taking in today, test it. And if it's good, hold on to it. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Okay, We should have microphone capabilities now. I don't know what that was about. Welcome. As we were saying before, I didn't realize we didn't have sound. It's 46 this morning. Yesterday we started out at 36. A little boo-boo there. Sometimes this equipment makes a mind of its own and changes things. Sorry about that as we get this going. It is Thursday. Welcome. We have the Newton Chamber of Commerce coming in at 7 o'clock. She's going to tell us all about the Loose Caboose. Lots going on there this weekend. Marion is up and at 'em there. Mitt, good morning. Gail? As we start looking at things that are going around the world, while in Russia, be very careful always. In a midnight exchange, an American ballet dancer has been released from a Russian prison. President Trump orchestrated that. And basically, what did she do? She was in Russia and gave $50 toward a donation toward Ukraine at some point. They didn't care for that. They accused her of a lot of other things. She was sentenced to prison. Trump got her out. Russia does not play. While on their soil, be extra careful. How many times have we seen these players and ball players carry drugs, what they consider to be the norm of gummy bears? It doesn't work well when you're in a Russian soil. Keep that in mind. I myself plan on staying here, deep in the South. I'm not going for a visit. Just when you thought it was safe to mail a letter, maybe you mailed one and it never got to where it was going. Well, it's going up again, or at least they're talking about it. Stamps cost 73 cents at this point, and they're looking at raising it to 78 cents. Something's got to be revamped on this. I have mail lost consistently. Stuff that never reaches me. I mail and it doesn't get there. And we've brought up what happened in Meridian with the thievery that went on within the department. 73 to 78 cents. It just keeps going and going and going. It does need to be revamped. Let's hope that someone will take over that and fix that. You ever missed school before? Been late for school? How bad did you want to get there? Kansas. Little boy's been arrested. Well, he wanted to get to school bad. He missed a bus, so he took his parents' truck. They had already gone. There was an expert at the house who grabbed the keys and took off. He wanted to get there bad. No one was hurt, but he was stopped by the police. Now, do y'all remember in Trump's first term when we found out that we would get another agency or form of military, and it ended up being Space Command? We didn't hear a whole lot about that during that next administration, did we? Or at least I didn't. Well, there's news out of it now. Huntsville, Alabama. Well, this is going to be big for the economy in Huntsville. They're going to be building the Space Command. That's where it's going to be signed, the headquarters.
Space Force.
Space Force. It's headed there. Space Command, Space Force. I ain't going there either. Mississippi and Alabama is as far out there as I want to get. But they're going to be building that, and in Huntsville, that's a big deal. And of course, you already got NASA there. All of this kind of backs up everything. So congratulations to them for getting that there. I think we touched on this briefly as we find out more about this week. Scams are normally aimed at the elderly. How many times have we heard these scams to where they go after the grandparent, and they even have recordings now, the voice of their grandchildren, and they say, look, you got to come up with $10,000 or they're going to jail, and they have a owl-generated voice that sounds like their kids. The online romance. And this targeted women 65 years old or older. A woman did it. She scammed $1.5 million out of elderly women. Had one woman mortgage her house for $600,000 to get her boyfriend that she thought was going to jail. Boy, that's just pretty rough, isn't it? My, oh my, that did happen there. Let's see here. We're going to be having weather coming up in a few moments as we'll get into this. Had my screen jump around on me. Or Bertha thinking for herself this morning as we get into all of our headlines. Let's see here. As we get, we're here. $500 million bust yesterday. Y'all aware of this? Florida. Cocaine. It was on a boat. They have busted it. Pam Bondi's on scene there. It was the cartel's drugs. They're not real happy about that, are they? Whoo, boy. It was 45,000 pounds of cocaine that they took. Keeping that off the street. King Charles has visited with the Pope. Hope it was a good visit there. Pope is doing better. He pulled through when I had just about given up there. Peaked. Now, DEI, that has been one of the biggest talks in America since the new administration went on. Pete Hegseth, senior advisor, is pushing for the Pentagon to cut ties with Scouting America. Says it's a little bit too much in there. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll see on that. Will they cut ties or not? I see a parent, and boy, I see this guy's point of view. And this is from, and let me show you his picture. This is from Twitter. See this gentleman there? He's addressing a school board. Colorado is where this is. I won't show the video because it would be disturbing. It disturbed me and got me in a foul mood quick. He addresses the school board there because we often hear this of these books that are out there in school. This would make you beyond sick, sickening, mad. Of the explicits that were shown to children of trying to get them to change, I'm trying to look for the wording, of the way you're born, so to speak. It's bad. It's just bad. They allowed this in a school. And I just don't want to go there down that road and tell all what was in it. It's horrible. We have got to, across America, the people that represent our children that are on school boards have got to have a little common sense. This is not right. It showed explicit photos of same-sex stuff. It was awful. As we go to California, I've never heard of this before, but tax dollars hard at work. They're offering, and there's no way to dance around this to say it any other way. No age limit on this now. None whatsoever. Free condoms, lube, sex ed material, all in stock in California libraries for any age that wants that. Boy. You know what you don't do when you're in America? Go to Mexico carrying a large sum of cash. $270,000 gets the attention of, well, the border agents. Female has been arrested. She was smuggling it, most likely for the cartel, is what we assume. Again, that's alleged. Assume. You ever heard that? And I've heard kids say this, ain't no way you're my brother. You don't act like me. Well, it came true for one. Somehow somebody in the family done some 23andMe testing. Turns out that little brother they used to pick on was not their brother. Some many, many moons ago at the hospital, there was a baby born with the same last name as him. The hospital got the children mixed up and sent the wrong child home. Now, it was in New York City is where that happened. What happens next? Would it have been best that he never knew that? You want to talk about a confusing future? That is. Do you contact the people that really are your parents? They most likely will, but boy, I can almost smell a lawsuit from here, can't y'all? Oh, yeah. That's coming. I see that. What else we got? Oh, have mercy. Now, I can remember, this was some 22 years ago. I was in Birmingham, Alabama. Had a close relative die. We had gone over for the funeral, and I'll never forget, as the hearse I was at, I was one of the pallbearers. It was a steep hill carrying the coffin down to the final resting place. The first person lost their balance. It was bad, but it was recovered. It never hit the ground, but it was a lot of wobbling and the coffin going everywhere. This would happen in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I've never seen anything like it. They gather around where you go to set the coffin down. It was kind of like a sinkhole. Everybody fell in the ground with the coffin. It took a little while to recover to get that back going again at the funeral. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. Never heard of that happening before. But the ground gave way and all 6 pallbearers went under. My, I didn't realize the death toll in the Dominican Republic. Have y'all kept up with this? A famous baseball player was one of those that was inside. But the death toll has risen to 184 people inside a nightclub that died when the roof collapsed. Another 155 are injured, but 184 lives lost. I'm thinking building codes aren't a real priority in the Dominican Republic, best I can tell. What else do we have going on this morning? Boy, they've been really studying over in France, and they figured out after 5 years that, yes, something did sneak out of that lab and cause COVID-19. We caught on to that pretty quick. Everybody that said it got in trouble. Y'all remember that? They were trying to control the media, if you'll go back and remember that. The White House has put their gavel down. This is almost like Meridian. I was told this, and again, I wasn't there in hand, but I'll tell you what I was passed on, that at the mayor's office in Meridian, if you misspelled Jimmy, if you spelled it Jimmy and didn't spell it Jimmie, that the mail was never opened. It was just returned to you because it made him mad. You didn't spell his name right. It went back. He wasn't never going to read it. Jimmy was not the way to do that in Meridian. The White House says if you send an email or a letter that's got pronouns in it, we ain't opening it. It's going back to you. Point blank, slam down, not going to take it. That's at the White House. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is where all that's going on this morning. Let's see here what else we've got. I had forgotten about this. Do you remember when this big push came about to where every shower head you got or toilet you got would use less water? You'd stand in the shower and you had no water pressure. Yeah. Executive orders is backtracking all of that. Now you'll be able to have a little water. That's the way it's looking. That was an executive decision there, backtrack there. Let's see here. What else we got? And I guess this slipped by me because we've got down on the coast, we build ships there, Ingalls Shipyard. But they build military ships. Did y'all realize hadn't been building cargo ships that ship products all around the world? We haven't been doing that. An executive order is going to put that back to where we build ships in America again. We need to build things here, don't we? I think so. Our towns need this. Now, let's get into the statistics. And I guess nothing should shock us anymore when it comes to fraudulent people that want to do harm for you and your tax dollars. Elon said he had to read this 2 to 3 times to let it sink in. And it's the last point that we'll make here. Let's look at this. Insurance claims. 24.4 thousand people over the age of 115 claimed $59 million in benefits in the United States. Social Security is where we're at here. 28,000 people between the ages of 1 and 5 years old claimed $254 million. 9,700 people, birth dates over the age of 15, in the future claimed $69 million in benefit, meaning that these people that got these benefits have not even been born. Did y'all catch that? And they've been being paid. About 10,000 people that have not been born yet have already been being paid benefits from Social Security. Tell me we don't need to look at things and dot some I's and cross some T's. That's pretty strong there. That's almost like it comes in and it's just stamped and out the door it goes. White House taking precautionary measures just to be on the safe side in case something were to, go wrong with the American farmer. They're putting a relief package together in case some of these tariffs were to go bad. They would help out the American farmer. They haven't said they're going to do it yet. Maine has been kind of the focus there. We got a problem?
Yeah, we got.
Hang on. Let me turn the microphone on here. Turn that around where they can hear you there, Odie.
We need some help.
What we got?
And we'll get a name and a picture here shortly, but if you are in Jeffrey Acres, please go outside. We're looking for a 9-year-old female who has wandered off from the house. We do not have any clothing description yet. Last seen about 10 minutes to 6. But if you're in the Jeffrey Acres area, would you go outside and look around and see if if you can help find this little girl, 9-year-old female. We'll try and get some information about some clothing, white female. Just kind of look around out there and see. We've got Lima's en route, SO's en route. We've got everybody headed that way. But
weighs about 80 pounds, 4'7". Is that about right?
yeah, 4'7", 80 pounds.
And we're waiting on a clothing description.
We're waiting on the clothing and all that. But right now, Jeffrey Acres Road, if you're in that area, kind of help us keep an eye out.
And that's out in the Zero community there, Jeffrey Acres. So y'all heads up, be looking for this little girl. Right before school, we want to make sure that she's found. All right, with that, we'll go to a break and come back, and we'll do weather before we get the morning show underway. We'll be right back with all that and so much more.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle.
Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our record highs, record lows, back in 2011, it was a warm day, 89 degrees. I remember 96. Yeah, it has been that long ago, hadn't it? It was 32 today back then in 1996. As we look across what's happening today, we're going to get at least 81 here. A few more clouds as you get toward the Columbus, Mississippi area, keeping it around 79 for most of the day. Down the river, we'll get back to 80 at Natchez. Hattiesburg, even warmer than Meridian at 82. Over in Bama, we'll see 81 at Demopolis on the river, 77-ish in Birmingham, and even down in Troy, down toward Dothan, we'll get up to about 78. Great weather across both states as we look at this. Now, here's our threat. And we're going to look at radar, live radar, to show you this. This is the chance of severe weather. It will begin around 6 p.m. tonight until midnight. Now, the Meridian area is at a level 1. Kemper County, it changes to a level 2, including Philadelphia. Now, let's cut across to live radar where we can see this, where we can zoom in on locations to give you a better bird's eye view of what's coming tonight. Here's local radar as we dig in on this. Here's Meridian. Here's Newton. Due north of here at Philadelphia, let's turn on our location so you'll be able to know where this all happens. This is going to pick up about where, as you're getting ready to drop off into 2 Mile Bottom in Kemper County, going up northward all the way to Scuba and the rest of the county. As you go west across Kemper, about where New Hope Volunteer Fire Department is, Cleveland, 495 Damascus, and following Highway 16 through Neshoba County into Philadelphia and all points north toward Winston. Even Edinburgh will be this level 2 for tonight. And as we back out to look at this, all of these locations, Lake Teocata, Winston County, Macon, as we get up to Columbus, Starkville, all of this, and Kosciuszko will be a level 2 storm. Now, the great news with this is the National Weather Service is not mentioning any tornadic activity with this. They're putting this as severe storms. So that's good. But be on the lookout for this rain moving in after 6 tonight, and it'll clear up tomorrow. Won't be bad at all, but that's where we are on the severe weather tonight. 6 p.m. to midnight is our chance, and they're really looking at being more as we go back here to look at their chart. Severe storms possible, damaging wind gusts, and golf ball size hail being the worst with this. So we could see hail, some rain, but no mention of tornadic activity. That's good. We've had too much of that lately, haven't we? Remember, straight line winds are Not pleasant either. As we look at our 6 to 10 day outlook, kind of normal across Mississippi. We're seeing warmer weather develop in California, pushing eastward toward the Dixie South. As we look at this, today's high 81 tonight. We'll get down to 50, about a 30% chance of showers there, and it'll be ending and getting out of the area. Friday, great weather, 72 for a high. Saturday, I guess you couldn't ask for anything any better. 70 degrees, 69 to 70 wherever you are. 0% chance of rain. We'll get down to 42 there. Warming back up on Sunday to 78 as you go off to church. And then we're back to 85 on Monday. 0% chance of rain all the way through next Wednesday after we get through this tonight. As we look through April the 24th, 80 to 82. Sunday we'll get up to 81, and even through the 24th of the month, 84. And we've had a couple of nights that have been chilly, but nothing to back up with that little what's his name? What was the little guy there that jumps out? Punxsutawney Phil. It didn't stick with him. It didn't come out the way he thought it would, at least not here in the South. As we look at our best fishing times today, now the wind's going to be southwest 5 to 10, and we will have gusts of about 20. That's what we're looking at there. We do have our major time to fish today. It begins around 10:30 to 12:30 today. A minor time about 5 o'clock this afternoon, but perfect there if you've got time today. Sunrise hit at 6:31 this morning. Sunset will happen at 7:30. Boy, we're getting real close to the top of the hour. Again, we've got a lot to talk about. What went on yesterday? What affected you? We're going to tell you all of that and so much more. That's on the way here in just a few moments as we get ready for this. Again, Ashley joins us from downtown Newton. She's got a lot of goings on. You're going to love this. She's going to tell us where the funnel cakes will be. I'm such a sucker for them. They reel me in like a rod and reel. I just can't help it. It's good. We'll find out that and so much more on the way, kicking off at 7 with the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.